Another question is that one nation is the loudest critic or doesn't like halal certification,
What?
the concept of halal certification in Australia. And you had faced some issue because of halal certification in your business.
Oh, I got my that post got more than million views.
So,
And
what is the halal certification? What do you think is the place of halal certification in Australia? And what do you think of One Nation's opposition to it?
I support one nation. But in order to implement that, we have to have a system where nobody can make a business out of faith. We have to have halal, but it's not should only be justified by a piece of paper that basically become a business in Australia. A lot of businesses buys non-halal meat and have a halal certificate to save money because halal meats are more expensive. When you get a halal certificate, the halal certificate authority will tell you these are the suppliers that you can buy halal from. These are of our approved supplier. So that means there is commission. Commission is haram in Islam. So my question is that what type of effing halal you are? You do not live a halal life and only comes to food. You only ask for halal. You lie. You talk shit behind people's back. You do dishonesty. You do unethical things every single day. And when it comes to food, you are only asking halal and you are telling that, oh Allah, forgive me. Because I am human. My heart is weak. I have given up to temptation. Do you think Allah is stupid? Allah is watching everything and Allah is not going to forgive you because Allah is nobody to forgive. Allah has given us the Quran and it says you have to pay for your consequences before I forgive you. There is nowhere in Quran it says that, okay, you can do every sin possible and I'll forgive you like that. No, there is always the consequences. It's written in Quran in the first chapter, first Surah Fatiha. It tells a lot of things. So any Muslims that believes that, oh, I'll cry, nah, you're gonna become a barbecue in hell for your things that you thought that Allah will forgive, because Allah will not forgive until the consequences forgives you, because your free will is the scale of judgment on the final day. And that free will gonna decide every single decision, actions that you have done in your lifetime, what consequences it has brought to other people. Do you know when our prophet used to walk, if he used to see an ant, he will walk around it. He will not kill it. Killing an ant in Islam is even haram, taking a life. So all this Allahu Akbar, Naraye Takbir that goes around the world, none of them going to heaven. If Quran is true, none of them are going to heaven. They are going to hell. Shaitan is going to barbecue them. So it's basically, there is no, to be honest, there is basically nothing to say to human race or Islamic that and that, because everyone deep inside knows. Nobody knows your truth better than you, Nirmal Singh. So you know at the end of the day, yes, you are living this life by doing everything, but at the end of the day, that last second when you're gonna die, I love that last second because I have witnessed it, I have felt it, so I've seen it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. But there's a whole section, or the majority Muslims will say that halal is a very core religious requirement, and I need to have the halal food, and I need to know the food is halal. So I need to have the certification, and every food, even if it is vegetarian, needs to have a halal certification.
Yes. Say
Where
for
do you think?
example, if say if I get to talk in one nation meeting or this and that, I will be advocating for disband every single halal authority that gives certificate in Australia and create one single authority run by government. And that authority like councils and that, and it becomes the part of it, and it becomes, because there are 800,000 Muslims and it's gonna grow to a lot more, because all the Muslims, we're gonna have babies, this and that, and new generation Muslims, this and that. So it's gonna grow. It's not gonna go down. So Why not we bring it in a way that it stops being a business? That is the problem of One Nation, because One Nation knows that halal bullshit has become a business in this country and it is promoting radicalism. When I talked about halal and this and that, I got crucified. But here is the fun fact. I got more than 1,200 followers within 2 days, and every one of them are Muslim. Because when we got crucified in Halal Food Western Australia pages several times on this, I did not bend over. I said that this is unjust. This is not the true face of Islam. This is radical Islam. Because you do not live a life of halal and I live a life of halal. I don't lie. I do honest things. I donate. And I donate 1/3 of my income. I pay everything. How many Muslims in Australia that pays proper zakat, proper donation according to Quran? Not even 5%. If anybody can show me they do, I'll basically change my name, but they don't, because that's the nature of the greed. Halal has to this. There are hundreds of authorities that gives halal certificate. Who gave you the authority to give you a halal certificate? Because you are a Muslim and you are an imam. You have memorized Quran. Fucking, I memorized Quran. So instead of that, I will advocate to One Nation that make it. If there would be a business, if there would be a money for the certificate, let it come to the national treasury instead of some group of Muslim people who are already living a radical life. Because if you look into many halal authority, they are the promoter of radical Islam. So Pauline Hanson is not wrong, but she may not be telling it in a way that Muslim people will understand. See, if you publish this part of the video to the Muslim people, I think more than 50% Muslim people in Australia will agree with me. I have more than 20,000 Muslim people that over the last 1 year that I have served, and basically they all come. There's plenty of Muslims here, but here is another fun fact. There are plenty of Muslims in Australia that when they came to this country, they said no religion. It's a fact as well.
But there's a other side, that whoever does the halal certification, be it the halal authorities or be it the government, halal certification is here to stay. It always will remain here. But halal certification also restricts the food choices of non-Muslim.
Not really.
It does.
Not really. Here is how, because plenty of restaurants and that sells pork and has halal certificate. Sells alcohol, has halal certificate. A lot of them in Morley alone, where we have businesses, and that there are at least 50 places has halal certificate that sells alcohol and pork. So it can coexist. We just have to look it in a different angle instead of radical bullshit.
Okay. Uh, there's there's other places where it restricts, and I know it because I don't eat halal. But
What, they don't allow you to eat there because you are not Muslim?
no, from my understanding, what it does is it restricts the supply chain. So, as a Sikh, I'm not supposed to eat halal, but all the sources of chicken and like steggles, the main sources are all halal certified. So there is no way for me to get any meat which is non halal. So all my meat is halal,
Why you are not,
whereas I am not supposed to eat
now
halal.
my next question, as a Sikh, why you are not supposed to eat halal? Why?
There's various reasons, but what I'm saying is Muslims are supposed to eat halal and we are not supposed to eat halal. But all my meat, because of halal certification, is now halal.
Exactly. So what is the way to get over it? The bullshit of religious, this type of darkness, that, oh, I can't. Let's go with science. Which way is better? Let's follow that.
So,
Because
okay, I'll tell you. In Australia, it's a very good system. Like before halal certification, it's a very good system. They said the Australian requirement is you can't kill an animal without stunning it. So if you stun the animal, you can kill it for slaughtering or whatever. In halal, it is required that you don't stun it
Who
before
said?
slaughtering.
Who said?
I can give it's on the website of all those.
Show me a line in Quran that you can't.
I'll
See,
give you the link of the Mirabuka Mosque.
as I said, those imam, whoever says that, I want to challenge them publicly to tell me that, show me a line in the Quran that says it's not halal. Because you are making your own interpretation, and that in order to keep your imamship and this bullshit and that bullshit. Because I studied the Quran. In Quran, it doesn't say. So you can. And that is also halal. I openly challenge 1.3 billion Muslims to show me a line in the Quran that you cannot. Because, as I said, I only follow the Quran and its words. I don't give a flying flack about what another Islamist Imam said, because God has given him a free will and brain, and I have a free will and brain as well, and I'm wise. I don't have a knowledge, and I wise, and I read the word of Allah as it should be written, without ego, without desire, without greed, without pride, with only humbleness, that I am nothing. I'm not even a sand dust in this existence. And that is when you can understand the humbleness of Bible, Gita, Quran, Tripitaka, every book, because it's all the same.